All right, so we are diving deep into Iron Flame.
Yeah.
The world, the characters, all the secrets.
Yeah.
You've provided some really compelling excerpts, so let's unpack them.
Let's get into it.
We're talking about Navarre, dragon riders, magical barriers. Where should we even start?
Well, Navarre itself
Okay.
presents a bit of a paradox.
Okay.
On the surface, it's this unified nation.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone speaking the same language.
Right.
But your notes hint that this wasn't always the case.
Yeah, it made me wonder, did they lose something in that unification?
That's a great question.
A bit of their soul, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The excerpts mention lost songs. History is only whispered by a few.
Right.
When everyone's forced onto the same page, what happens to the stories in the margins?
Right.
And crucially, how might that affect how they handle the threats they face now?
Which brings us to the dragon riders.
Yeah.
The elite warriors we all secretly wish we could be.
Of course.
Bonded for life to these magnificent creatures. It sounds intense.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intense is an understatement.
Okay.
We're talking about a connection that runs bone deep.
Mm-hmm.
These riders don't just fly with their dragons. They feel everything their dragon feels. Joy, pain, fear.
Wow.
Imagine the trust, but also the vulnerability.
Okay, that's way more intimate than I initially pictured.
Right.
No wonder the Dragon Riders Codex is so strict. That kind of bond if it went bad.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial element. You highlighted the wards.
Yeah.
These magical barriers protecting Navarre are powered by ward stones, which require immense sacrifice to maintain.
Yeah, that caught my eye too. It almost seems unsustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Is Navarre's unity more about survival than shared ideals?
Yeah.
Are the wards the price they pay for this fragile peace?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And one, I think, lies at the heart of this story.
Mm-hmm.
We see hints of dissent,
Right.
of people questioning the cost of this so-called unity.
Mm-hmm.
And within that context, the role of the dragon riders becomes even more fascinating.
Yeah.
They're not just warriors. They're symbols of this hard-won unity, expected to uphold it at all costs.
Yeah. Which brings us to Violet Sorrengail,
Right.
our protagonist.
Yeah.
She's got a famous name.
She does.
Her mother was the General Sorrengail.
Right.
The one and only.
Talk about pressure. And not just the legacy,
Right.
but inheriting her mother's signet, too. The power to command lightning.
Yeah.
That's a lot for anyone to handle.
Right.
Let alone a young dragon rider.
Yeah.
Finding her place.
Right. It's like, here's the weight of everyone's expectations. Oh, and also this volatile magic you could accidentally fry yourself with.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the excerpt suggests she struggles with that. Her power is immense, but so is the potential for destruction.
Yay.
It makes her journey to mastery all the more compelling.
Right.
Because the stakes are so high,
Yeah.
both personally and for Navarre.
And if that wasn't enough, Violet's also got a nose for trouble.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's for the truth.
Maybe a little both.
Yeah. Her digging into the past uncovers some pretty explosive stuff about Navarre, the wards, even her own family.
Ah, yes, the secrets.
Yeah.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It seems Navarre's history isn't as clean as the official narrative would have everyone believe.
Right.
What stood out to me was her discovery of a potential second signet.
Wait a second, signet.
A second signet.
What could that mean? Is it another source of power? A threat?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's clear this revelation has the potential to upend everything.
Right.
If a second signet exists,
Right.
it calls into question the very foundation of their society, their magic system, everything.
Okay, now I'm even more invested in Violet's sleuthing.
Right.
But it's not all ancient mysteries and hidden powers.
Yeah.
Right. She's got some intense relationships to navigate too.
Oh, absolutely.
Her connection with Xaden Ryerson,
Yes.
another writer, practically crackles off the page.
Their dynamic is fascinating.
Yes.
They're drawn to each other.
Yes.
But there's so much distrust.
Right.
So many secrets between them.
Yeah.
Xaden's past is obviously a source of both pain and strength for him. And it impacts how he interacts with everyone, especially Violet.
You can practically feel the tension.
Yeah.
They have this undeniable chemistry, but also this constant push and pull.
Yes.
I found myself wondering if they'd ever truly be able to let their guard down and trust each other completely.
It's a classic case of wanting what you can't have.
Right.
Or what might be bad for you.
Yeah.
But their personal struggles play out against a backdrop of larger conflict, too.
Right.
Navarre's forced alliance with the Griffin Riders, for instance.
Talk about a culture clash.
Right.
These two groups have been at odds for centuries.
Yes.
And now they're supposed to just work together.
Out of necessity, it seems.
Yeah.
The excerpt suggests the Venenin,
Right.
the creatures that threaten Navarre,
Right.
are a common enemy that forces them to put aside their differences, at least temporarily.
Right.
But the excerpts you shared only offer a glimpse into their uneasy alliance.
Right.
I'm curious to see how their different fighting styles,
Yeah.
their opposing views on magic,
Mm-hmm.
will either complement or clash with each other.
It's like they're trying to fly in formation while still fighting over the controls.
Right.
And as if that wasn't enough,
Yeah.
there's betrayal lurking in the shadows.
Yes, the excerpts hint at a major betrayal, one that cuts deep for Violet.
Yeah.
It seems even those closest to her
Wow.
aren't who they appear to be,
Right.
which forces her to question everything she thought she knew.
Yeah, that's got to shake you to your core.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're also facing down these terrifying Venan creatures
Right.
fueled by stolen magic.
Yeah.
What more can you tell us about them? They sound like a force of nature,
Yeah.
but also something else.
That's what makes them so unsettling.
Right.
They're not just mindless beasts,
Right.
but extensions of the Dark Wielder's will, shaped by magic that's been twisted and corrupted.
Right.
It's as if the very life force of the land is being used against it.
That's chilling.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a fight for survival. It's a fight for the soul of their world.
It really is.
No pressure. Right.
Right.
But hey, at least Violet's got a dragon by her side.
She does.
Right.
And it's not just any dragon.
Okay.
The bond she forms with Andarna is special, even unique among dragon riders.
Wow.
It speaks to Violet's capacity for connection,
Right.
even amidst chaos. And it highlights the idea that there's more to these dragons than even the riders fully understand.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
So we've got unlikely alliances,
Yes.
ancient secrets bubbling to the surface, and a battle against creatures that could unravel the fabric of their world.
Right.
Where do things go from here?
Well, the excerpts you shared culminate in a final confrontation.
Okay.
That's nothing short of epic.
Wow.
The fate of Navarre hangs in the balance. And the cost of victory, if they achieve it, is going to be immense.
Yeah. The glimpses we get are pretty intense.
Yeah.
Violet's facing down impossible odds, relying on everything she's learned, every bond she's forged, to protect those she cares about.
And it's in those moments that she truly steps into her own power.
Yeah.
Not just as a dragon rider,
Right.
but as the woman she's meant to be. The revelations about the seventh dragon,
Yeah.
the sacrifices made to ignite the final ward stone.
Yeah.
These excerpts leave us wanting more,
Right.
but also understanding that this fight will change Violet and Navarre forever.
And that's the mark of a good story, isn't it?
It is.
Leaving us breathless,
Yes.
wanting to know what happens next,
Of course.
but also giving us plenty to ponder in the meantime.
Lots to think about.
What will Navarre look like in the aftermath?
Right.
Can Violet and Xaden find peace even if they win this war? So many questions.
So many questions.
But for those answers, I guess we'll have to wait for the next chapter.
We'll have to wait.
This has been a great discussion. I'm so glad we got to do this deep dive with you.
Yeah, this is fun.
All right, until next time.
Yeah.